Hey everybody, Jeff Joyner here, and welcome to An Epic Life. Usually on this channel I tell funny stories from my experiences and life adventures, usually with a motivational or inspirational message. Got something a little bit different for you today. A lot of you know that I have been to a lot of amusement parks, mostly with my son Logan in his roller coaster adventures. You know, I've been now to over 100 different amusement parks in 8 different countries. And people ask me all the time, what are my favorites? Which ones do I recommend? And so this video is going to be about my top 30 favorite amusement parks. If you do like the content on this channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can be notified for more videos. I'll throw out that I'm wearing my son's brand. His YouTube channel is called Thrills United. If you love roller coasters and theme parks, click on Thrills United and check them out. Logan, he's a 16-year-old, and him and his friends make videos from amusement parks all around the world. So before I get into the list, let me throw out a little caveat, right? Number one, this video is not about the best amusement parks, right? There's no Olympics for amusement parks, and so we don't know which one's the best. These are about my favorites. People like different things, right? Just like people have different favorite ice cream flavors, people have different favorite roller coasters and amusement parks. And so these are my favorites. Number two, I'll throw out that I probably evaluate amusement parks differently than a lot of you, or most of you, or all of you. That I'm looking at the overall guest experience, and I weigh pretty heavily customer service. You know, I was talking to the president of an amusement park on the eastern United States, and he said, wow, you've been to a lot of parks. What's your biggest takeaway? He said, what's the biggest difference between the good ones and the great ones and the not so good ones? And I said, you know what? Here's been my experience. It's the percentage of employees that work at a park that care whether or not guests have a great experience. It's been my experience that at some amusement parks, the management and employees really care if people have a great experience that day. At some places I've been to, nobody cares if the guests have a good experience. They're punching a clock, they're getting a paycheck, and they want to go home as soon as they can. And so, as you'll see, I weigh pretty heavily the how much people seem to care. You know, because I went to a lot of these parks with my son, some of the management and ownership of these parks have really gone out of their way to make sure that we've had a great experience, to really support a teenage coaster enthusiast. And I just have to assume if they're going out of their way to be a blessing to us, that they probably go out of their way to be a blessing to a lot of other people too. And so that weighs pretty heavily in my rankings as well. So let's get into it. My top 30 favorite amusement parks. So number 30 on my list of my favorite amusement parks is Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. Now, this is probably a lot of people's number one favorite amusement park. They have a ton of coasters, I think like 19, I think maybe most of any amusement park. A lot of great coasters that people really love. I've been there 5 or 6 times. I would say the customer service is nothing special. The food when I've been there has been really not very good. Number 29 on my list is Carowinds in Charlotte, right on the North Carolina-South Carolina border. Coasters there that I really like, Fury 325, which is my second favorite coaster I've ever ridden out of 300 and some, however many. Copperhead Strike. What I like about Copperhead Strike is that when we were in Germany a couple of years ago, we got a tour of the Muck Rides facility, and we got to see the track all laid out there. It was the Copperhead Strike track before they had even announced that the new coaster was coming to Carowinds. And so that was pretty cool. But great rides like Afterburn and Intimidator, fun park to visit, Carowinds. Number 28 on my list is Heidi Park in Soltau, Germany. This was a fun little park. Had some cool coasters like Crake and Desert Race. Logan rode his 400th roller coaster there, which was kind of cool. It was like Flug der Dämonen, like Flight of the Demons. Some cool like kids areas there. No, we had a great time at that park. Number 27 on my list is Kennywood in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a cool park. It's got kind of a combination of old and new, some old classic coasters like Jackrabbit and Thunderbolt, some newer, really cool coasters like Phantom's Revenge and Steel Curtain. Some real kind of janky flat rides, some cool food options. They invited us for the media day for Steel Curtain, their newest coaster, and it was just an awesome experience. And so Logan got to meet some of the Pittsburgh Steelers players that was there. That was pretty cool. Number 26 on my list of favorite amusement parks is Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana. If you haven't been to this park, I recommend that you go. They consider themselves, I think, the oldest theme park in the world because they have these themed areas and they predate, Disneyland. And so they have these areas that are like the Thanksgiving area and 4th of July and Halloween. I'm not as big a fan as my son is of some of their coasters. They have a lot of like old school, really rickety wooden coasters. They're a little rough for me. And so I'm not a big fan of Raven and Legend. And I do like Voyage, which is their big wooden coaster. I can only ride it, man, a couple of times each visit, though. But super nice people, clean park, free soft drinks, and probably the best water park of any of the amusement parks that we've been to. Number 25 is Kings Dominion in Doswell, Virginia. This is the sister park to our home park, Kings Island. I think it opened the year after, back in the early 70s. We went when I was a kid. If I can find the picture, I'll stick it in here of me and my brothers with our matching Kings Dominion t-shirts. Pretty swanky. But some really great coasters there. I think my favorite there is Twisted Timbers, which is a great RMC coaster. They have Intimidator 305, which is probably the most intense coaster I've ever ridden. Dominator, a bunch of other coasters. Some really good food when I was there just a few months ago. And so I recommend it. Number 24 is Six Flags New England in Agawam, Massachusetts. I gotta say that this really probably wouldn't be in my top 30 except for one person who works there. I mean, they got some good coasters there like Wicked Cyclone and Superman the Ride, but I just wasn't that impressed with the park, except they have one amazing person that we met there. Her name is Jen McGrath. And she went so far out of her way to welcome us when we came. They donated like 100 tickets to Autism Speaks in Logan's honor. She walked us around the park. And I was blown away by her passion and commitment and customer service. And so that definitely bumps it up over a lot of the other Six Flags parks that I went to. Number 23 is Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. A lot of you probably been, who haven't been here, maybe have gone to Dollywood, and this is kind of Dollywood's sister park. And great customer service, great food, nice people who work there, some fun coasters, like Outlaw Run, Time Traveler. Logan's 200th coaster was there, and they kind of made a big deal about it. They had a news crew that was out there, and they gave him a hat and a shirt and kind of this certificate. And, when he was, 10 years old or 11 or whatever, when he hit that... benchmark of 200 coasters, it was really kind of cool that the park would go out of their way to recognize that. Number 22 is Knoebels in Ellisburg, Pennsylvania. This is a great little park. It's old school, man. It kind of gives you like an old carnival theme, but it's like a permanent amusement park. No cost for parking, no cost for admission. You either get a wristband for all the rides, you can pay per ride. Some super fun rides, like I loved Phoenix. Well, Dick Knoebel, who is one of the owners, I did a little interview with Logan. We had some media that came out that day. But because there's no admission, you see things here that you don't see. Like we saw people like walking their dogs in the park, people fishing off the pier. The bumper cars there are unbelievable. They're the best carousel in the world. And so recommend Knoebels. Number 21 is Knott's Berry Farm in California. This is a very unique park, got a different kind of feel than any of the other Cedar Fair parks. Some cool coasters there like Hang Time and Ghost Rider and Accelerator. And this is also the place where Logan's very first YouTube video was filmed. So I always have a place in my heart for Knott's Berry Farm. Number 20 is Hanza Park in Zirksdorf, Germany. And it's a cool little park, a couple really great coasters that Logan loved and I love too. One of them is called Karnen. I'm not going to try the pronunciation. The other one was, I'll give this one a try. It was called like Fluff from Novgorod. I really enjoyed our day at Hanza Park. Number 19 is Dorney Park in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Now this park's got some fun rides and coasters like Talon and Steel Force and Revenge of the Hydra. But what bumped it up over a lot of Cedar Fair parks for us was, the people that work there, right? The general manager of the park, Mike Fennell, came out to meet us, gave Logan a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the coasters. What they have in terms of maybe some lower quality coasters of other parks, they more than make up for, I think, with an amazing guest experience. For number 18, we're going back to Europe, and it is Liseberg in Gothenburg, Sweden. Great park. Helix was awesome. Really fun launch coaster. Some different elevation changes, like you take escalators to get to the queue for some of the coasters. Good food, games everywhere with kind of cool prizes. I was a little underwhelmed by their big wooden coaster. It's called Balder, and it's an Intamin prefab coaster, so I was expecting it to be like El Toro, and it was more like Woodstock Express. It was really kind of slow and boring. A guy named Ponta, super nice guy, gave us a tour, and they asked Logan and Taylor Bybee and the people that are with our group, gave them a chance to sign the coaster. And for Logan, man, he felt like he arrived after that, because other big YouTubers had signed back there. And so that was a cool experience. Number 17 is Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, in Tampa Bay, Florida. And boy, this is an awesome park, I think. It's kind of like combines the best elements of a great amusement park with a great zoo. Some really great coasters there, like Sheikra might be my favorite. The Cheetah Hunt is a great coaster there. The people there have always been very supportive to what we're trying to accomplish with Coaster Kids and Thrills United. Very good customer service in our experience, some pretty good food. And so I recommend Busch Gardens, Tampa. Number 16 is Canada's Wonderland in Toronto area in Canada. I think Vaughan, Ontario, actually, but Metro Toronto. And great Cedar Fair Park, some great coasters like Leviathan, my second favorite B&M Hyper coaster. For those of you guys who are into coasters may know that I love B&M Hypers. I've ridden almost all of them in the world. My second favorite in the world, even better than Mako in Florida, is Behemoth. And amazing people that run that park too. Last time we were there, they actually kind of gave us a tour, and the teenage kids got a chance to meet some of the engineers who design and maintain the coasters. And so great customer service experience. All right, halfway through my top 30 list here at number 15. Number 15 on my list is Gardaland in Castelnuovo, Italy. Great amusement park, some really cool coasters like Oblivion the Black Hole, also a wing coaster called Raptor that was pretty cool. But what I like, oh man, the food was really good there. They had these frozen fruit pops that we just kept eating and eating. They were so good. Cool little kids area. It's right there on Lake Garda, beautiful views. They have one of those lifting, that's not a drop tower. It's like a observation tower. I don't even know what you call those rides. But you could see the beautiful view right there on Lake Garda. We had a great time at Gardaland. Number 14 is Six Flags Fiesta, Texas in San Antonio, Texas. I think this is my highest ranked Six Flags park. Beautiful park. We really enjoyed it. Some amazing rides there, like Wonder Woman Golden Lasso. That's the only RMC Raptor coaster that I've ridden. Iron Rattler was an amazing coaster, especially at night. Very cool fireworks display. I've been there twice, I believe, and great. Probably my favorite Six Flags park. Number 13 on my list of favorite amusement parks is Wally Holland in Middenhausen, Netherlands. And this is a really cool park, some great coasters. Goliath, I think, was my favorite coaster there. But what really blew us away is the customer service that we got. The guy who interacts with a lot of the coaster enthusiast groups and visitors, a guy named Scott Bravenbore. And man, he was so amazing. He let our group in, come a little bit early, gave us a tour. They let my son Logan, when he was 13 years old, operate two of the coasters, right? He's pushing the buttons, he's launching coasters, and it was such a cool experience for him. Kind of put a little seed of a dream in there, and fast forward a few years later, he's now a ride operator at Kings Island, and that kind of got put into his heart right there. Number 12 on my list is Grona in Stockholm, Sweden. This is a cool park, man. What a cool vibe this park has. It's on an island. I think it's called like Garden Island, and this is on the seaward side. And it's not big, but they have packed so much stuff in there. There's coasters. You just look around, you're like coaster, 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 ride, ride, ride. Everywhere you look. Great food. My favorite flat ride probably ever is there. It's called Icarus. It's a drop tower, and it's kind of like Falcon's Fury, that it like pulls you, but instead of a circle, it's like two sides. You go up this drop tower, it pulls you back, so you're looking face down, and then drops you and like swings out at the end. It was awesome. I highly recommend Icarus. We had some great food there, some really great food. And so, man, this is one of the parks that I really love to go back to. Number 11 is Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Now, this was basically my home park growing up. I grew up in Detroit area. We don't have any amusement parks around there. And so we used to drive, like the Honor Society trip, the youth group trip. We'd always go to Cedar Point. And so when all growing up, Me and my brothers have so many great memories there. Amazing coasters there, right? My favorite's Top Thrill Dragster. I love that. Steel Vengeance is a great coaster. Gatekeeper, Maverick, all these awesome coasters. It's a clean park. It's a good vibe. Good customer service. It's like the roller coaster capital of the world, basically. If you love coasters, you got to go to Cedar Point. All right, now for my top 10. My 10th favorite amusement park is Eftelline in Knoebels, Netherlands. Man, this park, if you like cool theming, this theming was really, really amazing here. It's all, the whole park is themed to fairy tales and legends and folklore and just the most amazing detail to theming. I really, really enjoyed it. It's kind of a rainy day when we were there, which kind of took away from it. Man, I thought it was really amazing. This predates Disneyland and supposedly was a park that Walt Disney visited to kind of get a vision for what you could do with what he was building in California with Disneyland. Number 9 is Busch Gardens Williamsburg in Williamsburg, Virginia. Very cool park, some great coasters there like Alpengeist and Invader and Loch Ness Monster and Griffin. What bumps it real high up is the people there were so cool to us when we went there. We did a Coaster Kids Day, right? So Logan and a bunch of his friends, and they threw out an invitation, and all these kids showed up to hang out. And they actually gave us a behind-the-scenes tour for me and Logan and a few of his friends. A guy named Gavin Hatfield. Shout out to you, Gavin. Such a cool experience. They really treated us well, and I'm assuming they treat other groups just as well as they do us. And so great customer service, clean park, good food that we had there, fun on the coasters. Number 8 is Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Now they got some cool coasters here too, right? Lightning Rod is one of the best RMC coasters that I've ridden. Other fun coasters like Fire Chaser Express and Wild Eagle and one of the better Aero Loopers, Tennessee Tornado. But what really sets this park apart for me is amazing, amazing customer service. Probably the best customer service. Now, I think they have an advantage because a lot of people retire to Tennessee, and so they hire, it seems like most of their employees are retired grandmas and grandpas who just treat everybody amazing. Imagine if your grandma worked at an amusement park. And so great customer service, great food. And Amber Davis is one of their customer relations and marketing people that last time we were there did a little interview with Logan, treated us really well. And so I think they really go out of their way to make sure that every guest has an amazing experience. And so that ranks them very high, up number 8 on my list. Number 7 is Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Now, for my ranking, I'm combining Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. I know it's 2 separate parks, 2 separate admissions, but I'm combining them because I want to, because I like them both, for different reasons. They have a train that connects them, which is probably the coolest ride in the whole park, is riding the Harry Potter themed train. But just some awesome, amazing theming. Probably in America, it's probably the best theming that you can get. Love the Harry Potter area in those rides. Escape from Gringotts blew me away. Also love the Marvel stuff. You guys know I love Marvel superheroes, and so I love the Marvel area over at Islands of Adventure. I haven't ridden Velocicoaster yet in the Jurassic Park area. I'm looking forward to riding that because I hear it's a lot like Terran, which is my favorite coaster in Germany. And so Universal Studios, amazing theming, cool experience. We live in Ohio, and Logan just bought a season pass to Universal Studios in Orlando. That's how much he loves going there. And so we're hoping to get back there sometime here in 2022 and have some more fun. Number 6 on my list is 2 other side-by-side parks that I'm lumping together for the sake of my list, and it's Portaventura World in Toulouse, Spain. Man, what a cool place this was, right? Amazing theming, cool rides. My favorite B&M Hyper Coaster, Shambhala, is there. Just such a fun ride. Great floater airtime right there on the water. It's amazing. Ferrari Land is right next door. And, if you love Ferraris and sports cars, very, very cool theming. And, some good food, great coaster rides, nice people. We really, really enjoyed our day. Number 5 on my list of favorite amusement parks is Alton Towers in Staffordshire, England. Man, this is a cool park. This is really, really unique. We talk about what's unique and different. This one is. First of all, you walk in and all you see is this like big, beautiful green field and all these streets. You're like, where's the amusement park? And I guess they have a rule over there that the rides have to be, lower than the tree line so it doesn't look bad from outside the park. And so you kind of walk around this like sprawling area. And here's a section with a bunch of coasters. Cool coasters there too. Wicker Man, which is my favorite GCI wooden coaster. I love that. Love that ride. The Smiler, which was a crazy wild coaster. Galactica, Oblivion. And then this garden area that is just, it rivals or exceeds any botanical garden that we have in the U.S. It's on, you're walking through, like, it's unbelievable. And the locals are just like, la la la, we're on our way to ride Nemesis. And I'm like, guys, this is beautiful. It's like this unbelievable, like, I can't even describe it. I thought it was amazing. Number 4 on my list is Kings Island in Mason, Ohio, right down the road from where I live. Man, this park, I got feels when it comes to this park. This is nostalgia. You know, my family went there a lot. I think the park opened in 1972, and in 1973, we went for our first time. And all growing up, every year, we'd go for 2 days in the summer to Kings Island. This park has the sights and smells of my childhood, man. I loved it. I loved the Hanna-Barbera characters. Loved riding the coasters there. Rode the Beast the year that it opened. You know, we rode Son of Beast. I've ridden every coaster that's come and gone at Kings Island. I've ridden, and so just very, very nostalgic for me. It's our home park. It's where Logan had his breakthroughs, where he first overcame his fear of coasters that have changed his life and a lot of other lives too. That's actually where he had his first job. He worked this summer at Kings Island as a ride operator, got trained on almost all the coasters, and he worked 700 hours at Kings Island this summer. And so very cool first job experience, first rate senior management, customer service, training, the food. Really, really good for a Cedar Fair park. I love Kings Island. It's part of my childhood, part of my life. I always love it. And it's number 4 on my list of favorite amusement parks. Number 3 is Europa Park in Rust, Germany. Boy, man, if you love theme parks, this is one of the best in the world. You know, and people say, oh, is it better than Cedar Point? And I'm like, it's not really the best comparison. I compare it to, Disney World. And, this would be like Disney World if Disney World had great roller coasters, right? And super cool, amazing theming, unbelievable food. We went to the Food Loop restaurant where the food comes, you order it on a screen and it comes delivered on a roller coaster track. And they got a few other ones like that around the world, but that was our first one. And so we spent 2 days there, and even that wasn't enough. I highly recommend, if you love amusement parks and roller coasters, you gotta get to Germany in your lifetime. Put this on your bucket list. Spend a couple days at Europa Park. My number 2 favorite amusement park in the world that I've been to is Fantasia Land in Brühl, Germany. Wow, this park blew me away. The theming, the attention to detail, right? My favorite coaster I've ever ridden is called Terran. It's at this park. It took them a year to build the coaster and then another year to build all the theming all around it. And it's stunning. It's staggering. All their rides are like that, right? They're like best of class, right? They got Black Mamba there, which is a B&M invert, but it's probably the best, or at least one of the, I think it's the best I've ridden. And all through these near misses of all this really cool themed area. They have Chiapas, which is a flume ride, but it's the coolest themed flume ride I've ever been on. I think the drop is 53-degree drop, the steepest in the world. Other rides like Colorado Adventure, which is their mine ride, but the coolest mine ride that I've ever been on. We did not stay at one of their hotels, but they have these themed hotels. They have a new ride called Fly, and the hotel is like kind of in the middle of the coaster. I'd love to stay there, but their hotels look amazing. They're expensive, and we were kind of on a budget when we were there. But this would be the number 1 park that I'd love in all my experience to go back to and bring my wife. I've seen pictures of it in the wintertime, and it looks amazing. And so, boy, man, Fantasia Land. We spent a day there. I wish I'd have spent 3 days there. It's just beautiful and amazing. We really, really enjoyed it, and it was just awesome. All right, now ready for my number 1. This won't surprise some of you. This will probably outrage some of you. But my number 1 favorite amusement park in the world is Kentucky Kingdom in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, maybe you've been there, maybe you haven't. I recommend that you go. It's a great park. They got some really good coasters like Storm Chaser and Lightning Run. But the reason this is my favorite is because the people who run Kentucky Kingdom have blown me away with things that they've done for my family, right? That the owner of the park for years, he recently retired, but Ed Hart was the owner of the park, and kind of saved Kentucky Kingdom when it went through a really hard time. There's a great documentary by Taylor Bybee about how he saved the park, him and his team. I highly recommend that. But this guy owns a theme park, and he heard the story about my son Logan and how he was helping other people overcome fears. He contacted us and said, hey, how can we help what you guys are doing? And I said, well, we'd love to have a Coaster Kids Day there. And so they did a day. They had early ride time just for Logan and his friends, special catered lunch. And the owner of this park came out and spoke to the kids. And then he did it again the next year. And then he did it again the next year. And he's putting on like Coaster Kid. This guy's a multi-millionaire, very successful businessman. And yet here he is working with this little kid to help him grow his channel and make a difference in other people's lives. Some amazing other employees there. Some of them have left over the last few years. Jesse just left there, but I know, I think Carly is still there, and Jefferson Richardson, and people that are just awesome. One of the really cool things is when they opened up their latest new coaster, which is called Kentucky Flyer, Mr. Hart, the owner of the park, said that he'd like Logan and I to be on the first car of the first train on Media Day. And he said that like 9 months before they built it. I thought he would forget. And so on the day that we're getting ready to ride, they were like, wait. Logan and Jeff get to be in the front car. And it was really so cool. They actually have a big sign there talking about Logan and Coaster Kids and trying to help people. They sell his t-shirts at the park. Just way overboard, over and above. And I know it's not just Logan. They support, man, if you have an organization and you're looking for an amusement park that'll work with you and that will support what you're trying to accomplish, I recommend you reach out to them because they have been amazing. They have been life changers for my family's life. And so they are my number one above all the other bigger, better, faster, more expensive, better themed, whatever. Number one in my heart will always be Kentucky Kingdom. Now, the new owners are the Herschend family who owned Silver Dollar City and Dollywood, and I expect that they're going to take Kentucky Kingdom even to new and better heights. But I got to tell you, if you haven't gone, I recommend you go. I think you'll have a fun day. All right, that's my list. Feel free if you want in the comments to tell me what your favorite amusement parks are. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you've been to just a few, maybe you've been to a lot. But we've been to most of the major parks now in America, and looking forward down the road, maybe getting to China, maybe getting to Japan, or Energylandia in Poland, or maybe to Mexico. But for now, these are my favorite amusement parks. Hope you enjoyed the description, and get out there and have some fun.